Pramac Racing's Jack Miller has never been afraid to speak his mind, but his latest remarks about Marc Marquez show not just respect for a rival, but almost awe at what the 8-time world champion continues to achieve in MotoGP. This season, Marquez has returned to the sharp end of the championship in a way few expected. After several injury-plagued campaigns and long spells of rehabilitation, many had written off the so-called baby alien as a rider past his peak. Yet in 2025, he has not only silenced the doubters, but re-established himself as the dominant force of the paddock. Riding for the Ducati Lenovo team, Marquez has been virtually untouchable in the sprint races, winning nearly every outing and dropping points just once. In the main Grand Prix, he has also racked up a string of victories, only occasionally settling for podium positions. Catalunya was a rare example where he had to place second best, this time losing out to his younger brother, Alex Marquez. Despite that result, the elder Marquez remains the overwhelming favourite for the 2025 world title. Many insiders already believe he will wrap up the championship with races to spare, something not seen since his own prime years with Repsol Honda. Among those singing his praises is fellow Ducati rider Jack Miller. The Australian, who has seen and battled Marquez at close quarters, described the Spaniard as someone with an almost intangible presence, something that sets him apart from every other rider on the grid. "Marc is an incredible person," Miller explained. "I remember telling Ruby, Miller's wife, that I could actually see the aura around him. It's like something you can feel in the air. I remember one time in Thailand we were all getting off the bus to board the plane. Nearly the whole paddock was there and you could just sense it. It was déjà vu. Something special." For Miller to use the word aura is telling. MotoGP riders are no strangers to greatness. They have all raced alongside multiple world champions. But Marquez, it seems, brings something almost mythical that inspires both fear and admiration in equal measure. Miller also highlighted the sheer resilience Marquez has shown in overcoming years of injury. Since his career-threatening arm fracture in 2020, Marquez endured surgery after surgery, long spells of recovery, and numerous setbacks. Yet here he is in 2025, stronger, fitter, and more dangerous than ever. "Only he really knows what he went through," Miller continued. "It must have been hell, but he's worked unbelievably hard. Just look at his body this year. He's transformed himself. He's like a thoroughbred racehorse now, stronger than ever." That transformation has been obvious on track. No longer does Marquez need to wrestle the bike to extract performance. Instead, he rides with precision, maturity, and confidence, a dangerous combination when matched with Ducati's formidable machinery. If one trait has always defined Marquez, it is his refusal to quit. Miller captured this perfectly when he described the Spaniard's never-say-die attitude. "Marc is the type of rider who will stay on that bike until the tyre literally says goodbye," Miller said with a grin. "He's always the one pushing the limits. And now, he's found a balance. He's not overriding, he's riding within himself, which makes him even more effective. You can try to push harder than anyone, but it won't work if it's not natural. Marc has found that sweet spot." Miller summed it up bluntly. He will never give up. He won't slow down just because things don't look good. Hell no, that's not Marc. What makes Marquez such a formidable threat this season is not just his speed, but the way he has reinvented himself. In the past, he was known for spectacular saves and wild risk-taking, living on the edge of disaster. Now he combines that raw aggression with a more calculated approach, carefully managing tyres, race pace, and strategy. This evolution is what has frightened rivals like Miller. An older, wiser Marquez who no longer crashes out chasing impossible moves, but instead banks points and controls races, is arguably even more dangerous than the reckless prodigy of old. For Ducati, it's a dream scenario. For the rest of the grid, it's a nightmare. With each passing weekend, Marquez not only takes a step closer to another championship, but also reasserts his status as MotoGP's most intimidating competitor. As the paddock heads into another crucial round, one thing is clear. Marquez is not just fast, he has that aura, that psychological edge that makes rivals question themselves before the lights even go out. And as Jack Miller rightly points out, that may be his greatest weapon of all. The respect Miller shows towards Marquez also underlines how far the Spaniard's reputation stretches. Rivalries in MotoGP often carry tension. Yet Marquez's journey has shifted him from being the rider everyone wanted to beat to the rider many now admire for sheer determination. Even those who once clashed with him on track acknowledge that his story is shaping into one of the greatest comebacks the sport has ever witnessed. Aura is not something that appears on timing sheets, but it may be just as important as horsepower or tyre choice. Marquez's ability to influence the mentality of his rivals before a race begins is a hidden weapon. When Miller and others openly admit to feeling it, that psychological edge can cause hesitation in wheel-to-wheel battles, a split-second pause that often decides victory. Within Ducati's structure, Marquez has also changed the dynamic. Once Jorge Martin and Francesco Bagnaia were seen as the long-term anchors for the factory, but the Spaniard's resurgence has reshuffled the deck. Engineers and strategists now focus around his strengths, knowing that his results could secure not only the rider's title but also the constructor's crown far ahead of schedule. On the grandstands, Marquez's revival has electrified the crowds. Circuits across Europe have been filled with fans waving the familiar Estars 93 flags, a sight that had diminished during his years of struggle. MotoGP thrives on icons, and Marquez's return to form ensures the sport has a central figure capable of drawing attention far beyond the usual fan base. For Miller, Bagnaia, Martin and the rest of the grid, the task now is monumental. Competing against Marquez in this state means aiming for perfection every single weekend. One small error, one mistimed overtaking maneuver, or even one poor qualifying lap can spell the end of a victory chance. The sense of inevitability around Marquez's charge is something the paddock has not felt for several years. As MotoGP 2025 enters its decisive phase, the questions grow louder. Can anyone stop Marquez? Will his brother Alex continue to be his closest challenger? Or will the likes of Miller, who respects yet fears him, find a way to disrupt the script? Whatever the outcome, one fact is undeniable. Marc Marquez is once again the benchmark, and the rest of the field must raise their game if they want to keep pace.